There was a time when liking things ironically was a personality trait. Wearing weird clothes and quoting cringy pop lyrics and watching, obscure low budget TV was cool, but only if you did it as a joke. If you did it and you shared it and you had a little like wink, wink, ha ha, the subtext there was always like, I am in on the joke. I'm in on the bit. Like, I know this is dumb, but I'm there. It was always a shield, and it always has been. It's a way to enjoy something without committing to it. I'm not going to share that I actually liked this, because God forbid somebody look at it and be like, that's dumb. But lately, there's been a shift. There's like this, almost kind of like this, this like exhale of people starting to be a little bit more authentic, be more sincere, starting to, like the things that they like unabashedly, not as like a meme or not, ironically, but because they actually like them. MySpace came out when I was in middle school. And back then, nobody really had any sort of like gauge for how to try and interact with each other on the internet, how to post things, how to share things. So everybody was open and honest, and you just kind of like shared whatever was on your mind, and you put little emojis and you said weird thoughts and you quoted weird song lyrics. And like, not me, I definitely never did that ever. But we didn't know how to interact in the space. So, humans weren't meant to interact in the space. And all of a sudden you have 13-year-olds who are trying to figure out how to develop their entire social identities while also doing it with people they've never met on, the other side of the world. Eventually, we got a little better at it. And eventually, you have kids who are coming up who were born into the social media generation. And you have so much more literacy about how to actually interact and handle this environment. And then over time, you start, interacting with people you've never met before who are judging your entire identity. At best, they're calling you cringe and embarrassing. At worst, something completely horrible. But it's something where eventually, you start, just like with normal human interactions, you start developing survival tools. And eventually, like, especially as a people, I feel like, irony became one of these kind of survival tools where, like, being earnest, caring about something, posting pictures and ideas and, interests and stuff, sharing like on your Facebook that, like my favorite bands are Nickelback and I don't know. Nickelback is literally the only thing that came to mind. But that people could look at it and be like, oh, haha, you like Nickelback. That's weird. You're dumb. And so then you start, tagging bands you don't even like, bands you don't even listen to just because somebody else likes it. At my time, it was Jonas Brothers, Justin Bieber, One Direction, maybe. Yeah. And so then liking things that didn't fall into that sphere, became kind of like, you still liked those things. You were still a person with a personality. Like, you still cared about the same things that you cared about before, but you couldn't like them openly and honestly. And it became this place of like, we're going to like things ironically, because nobody can judge me if I'm like, wink, 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 like liking it, but secretly, you don't really know where I feel. And it becomes this kind of like shield and this wall to continue liking the things that you do like without having to be open and honest. And there's nothing wrong with liking something ironically. There are bad movies that I love. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Rotten Tomatoes, I think it has like a 9%. And on rewatches, not the best movie, but I have watched that movie so many times and I think it is so good. And I like it. Would I put it up to bat against Oppenheimer? No. But I like it. And I'm fine with the fact that I like it. I like something bad. I don't like it ironically, I just like it. It's okay to like things that are bad. And it's okay too to like not necessarily know how you feel about it, like just kind of like the vibes, but not like know 100% if you're kind of with it. And so like there's a place for it. But when you shift into this place, when we as a society shift into this place where like being ironic is just a constant thing. Like you can't have a real relationship with somebody. You can't say how you really feel. You can't create something with meaning and purpose because you're afraid that somebody is going to look deep down and judge you. Like that becomes a problem. And that's where we've gotten to for a number of years, thanks to the internet. And eventually it kind of morphs into what we know now as like cringe culture, or just the idea of cringe in general. That like people who try hard, people who actually put themselves out there and really kind of like work at it are cringe. That is the lowest possible position that you would want to be on the internet. Somebody who actually tries. We want it to be easy. We want it to be like, you have a great sense of fashion. You're great at guitar. You're great at video games. But you don't try at it. You didn't practice. You haven't been doing it for all that long. You don't buy cool things. You just kind of, you throw on some clothes. You just kind of strum a few strings and look, it sounds great. Like that is what we have been conditioned to strive for, because you see all of these people on the internet who seem like they have it all together. You know, if you're creative, like writers who are writing incredible poetry and sharing it out into the world. You have artists who are doing these like digital speed draws and they look amazing and they're selling at craft fairs. You have musicians who are covering bands like Polyphia who, you know, play guitar like no human ever should. And you feel like you want to be like them, but you can't unless you try. But if you try and you fail and you're not as good, then that looks worse than not trying at all. But here's the thing, is like trying is cringe by definition, or at least by internet definition in the year 2025, maybe not so much anymore, but at least in the last couple of years, like trying is cringe. Feeling and being deeply passionate about something is cringe. But humans, we are cringe. None of us are devoid of embarrassing things. You know, I think back so often on all of the different things that I've tried to take on to get to the point that I am as like a writer, where I'm, you know, starting this YouTube channel, or I'm doing this webcomic and I'm doing this thing and I'm sharing it out and I'm really excited about it, and thinking in my head like, should I have done that? Should I have like told people about that? Because like, what if they think I'm cringe for trying at this? And what if I drop off and then all of a sudden I'm not posting about it anymore and I'm not sharing about it anymore? It's going to show that I failed. And not only did I try and care about this, but also wasn't good enough to do it. Like, how can I do that? But like, that is what we are as humans, is like, we are deeply passionate people. We have hobbies, we care about things. And when you as a creative, or you just as a person, you don't express that, you know, mute an entire part of yourself so that other people can see, then you're just effectively just a filter. You're a copy of a copy of a copy. You're not you anymore. You're just a version of the internet that kind of has the vague facsimile of you. And the truth is, like, as artists, you look back, I don't think that there was any art, whether it was, you know, classical music way back from, you know, Mozart and Bach, all the way to, you know, British writers like Byron and Bronte. You know, I don't think any of them sat there and were like, I can't try at this. Like, they were passionate. They were, you know, they wanted to do this thing. They felt very deeply, and they had to do it. They had to create, they had to make it, they had to feel with their whole self. And they had to, whatever they wanted to say, they had to say it with their chest, because that's how it was. There wasn't like, they weren't competing for how little to care. They were competing for how much they were gonna like drag your ass when they were better at you at writing than somebody else. And I think because of that, like somewhere along the way, we've gotten tired of all of this performance. You know, we're online constantly. We're seeing people online constantly. We're seeing people that we see in public who look differently and speak differently and present so differently online. And we're like, man, do I really even know this person? And we're feeling that way about like our own parents and our own siblings, people that we've known for years. And it's like, you know, what even is human interaction anymore? What is even knowing who a person is? And I think in 2025, like we've gotten to a place where we're just tired. We're tired of it all. We're tired of this constant pretending like we're not supposed to care. Because it's like, dude, I just want to, like, the world has a lot going on. Politics is weird. We just came out of a pandemic. I just want to like watch somebody make Lego figures. I want somebody to paint some cool stuff. I want somebody to show me their garden. I want somebody to just be like having fun, because that feels good. That feels human. And me personally, that is the place that I'm in. Like when I'm on Instagram, when I'm looking at things on YouTube, I want the people who I can feel their personality coming through the screen. Like I want a person who feels human and genuine, not somebody who is just hopping on the latest like audio trend or whatever so that they can get views. I want somebody who is actively like doing interesting, cool things that are uniquely them. And so I think if there is a point to this video, it's that you need to like things and like the things that you like, because at the end of the day, like you cannot rewrite your entire self. You can pretend as you got older that all of a sudden you were uninteresting and you didn't actually like anything. And all you really like to do is consume content and just binge stuff. And maybe you go golfing on occasion. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like you didn't like golf before. Where did that come from? Be okay liking the things that you like. It doesn't mean you have to share it publicly. It doesn't mean you have to get out there and be extroverted all of a sudden and show people this is who I am and whatever. But like there is so much value in putting yourself into whatever you create, whatever you do. If you're posting on social media, if you're writing new things, if you're creating new songs, like those things will be made better because you are a part of it. And the people who would make fun of you for liking something that you like or making something that you're really passionate about, those aren't people who are doing those things better than you. They're people who more than likely are afraid of what other people would say about them. You know, if they tried to do the same thing that you did, what would you say? What would somebody else say? And it's a fear of being judged. It's a fear of being shamed. It's a fear of being cringe. And so loving things, being passionate about something, you know, we've gotten to this place where we view it as a weakness, but at the end of the day, it's a strength. It shows confidence. It shows boldness. It's not arrogant. It's not loud necessarily, but it's a kind that says like, I don't care if this isn't cool. Like this is who I am. This is what brings me joy. And that kind of confidence is the thing that creates great work. It's the kind of confidence that that people want to connect with. They want to follow somebody who is confident, who likes the things that they like and is the person they are unabashedly forever. And so be yourself, be weird, make the thing that you want to make. If you're super minimal and that's your whole personality, super cool. But if you're trying to downplay yourself so that you can be a version of somebody else or be a version that you think that the internet wants you to be, stop doing it. Like, be somebody that you want to be. Make the things that you want to make. Put yourself out there in a way that you really connect with, that you would want to connect with, that you would want other people to connect with. Because that's the kind of stuff that people are going to love, they're going to latch onto, and that's going to actually stand the test of time.